What's up, everyone? Five for Politics here, and as many of you have probably already heard, Rob Reiner and his wife were tragically killed in their home on December 14th, 2025. Their son, Nick Reiner, was arrested and charged with first-degree murder in connection with their deaths. Upon hearing of Reiner's death, our president, Donald Trump, posted this to Truth Social. A very sad thing happened last night in Hollywood. Rob Reiner, a tortured and struggling, but once very talented movie director and comedy star, has passed away, together with his wife Michelle, reportedly due to the anger he caused others through his massive, unyielding, and incurable affliction with a mind-crippling disease known as Trump derangement syndrome, sometimes referred to as TDS. He was known to have driven people crazy by his raging obsession of President Donald J. Trump, with his obvious paranoia reaching new heights as the Trump administration surpassed all goals and expectations of greatness, and with the golden age of America upon us, perhaps like never before. May Rob and Michelle rest in peace. The cold and callous remark immediately following the tragic deaths of the Reiners was condemned by Democrats and Republicans alike, all across the political spectrum. When reporters brought this to Trump's attention, rather than walk his comments back, he instead doubled down. Let's play this clip.
President, a number of Republicans have denounced your statement on Truth Social after the murder of Rob Reiner. Do you stand by that post?
Well, I wasn't a fan of his at all. He was a deranged person as far as Trump is concerned. He said he knew it was false. In fact, it's the exact opposite, that I was a friend of Russia, controlled by Russia. You know, it was the Russia hoax. He was one of the people behind it. I think he hurt himself in career-wise. He became like a deranged person, Trump derangement syndrome. So I was not a fan of Rob Reiner at all, in any way, shape, or form. I thought he was very bad for our country.
So did anyone notice how our president conflated Reiner being bad for Trump with Reiner being bad for our country? The level of uncaring narcissism in that statement alone should make Americans sick to their stomach. The double murder of the Reiners, by their own son Nick, was a tragedy in every sense of the word. The expectation is that our leaders will respond with dignity, empathy, and a shared sense of humanity. But instead of offering compassion and comforting a grieving family, or at the very least acknowledging the gravity of the moment, Donald Trump chose something very different. He instead used the deaths of two people as an opportunity to attack Rob Reiner, a man who had criticized him politically, and to push the phrase Trump derangement syndrome as if the murder of a husband and wife were somehow about him. Let's unpack that for a moment. Two people brutally killed. A suspect, their own son, arrested and charged, shattering the entire family. And Donald Trump's first instinct was to make the moment about his political grievances, to mock the dead, and to turn tragedy into a punchline for his base. Let's go ahead and forget politics for a moment. A normal human being understands that tragedy calls for empathy. When a public figure dies violently, especially at the hands of their own child, the first instinct shouldn't be to weaponize the moment for attention or for applause from your base. Whenever Trump is handed the opportunity to show compassion, he chooses cruelty instead. Whenever a moment requires any type of solemnity, he reaches for mockery. When the country needs a unifying message, he divides. It's true that moments like this reveal character. They show whether someone can rise above their ego and whether they can put aside their grudges and act like someone who understands the weight of their words. But once again, Trump showed us that he's incapable of this. In times like this, America needs a president. What we got instead was a reminder of what happens when the country is led by someone who cannot see beyond themselves.